Hey everyone, this is Sandeep back with 100 Days of Coding React and Redux. Today's video will continue to build our Notes app and we are actually integrating our note taking app with the JSON server generated mocked APIs, right? So in the last part of the video, we did the API integration with for the creation of Note. In this video, let's do the other API integration. Like say, suppose, when I'm going to add a new node here. So I'll add a node to and node to text. And if I submit, I can see that I have added a node to and which is updated here, right? But when I refresh, I don't see any node. And if I go to my db.json file, you see that we have a couple of nodes here, right? And we want to show all those nodes when the application is going to get loaded first time. So to do that, obviously the entire state management is happening inside our app.js file. So I need to do the changes here. So now I want to load all the nodes when my application, my app to app component is going to rendered for the first time. Now, if you remember the hook, so obviously we need to use a hook here. If you remember the hook where, I can do some kind of action based on my app component first render only. And for that, we can use the hook called the use effect. If you remember that, right? So use effect is a hook which is used for handling the side effects in our application. And API integration is also a side effect, right? Because we are sending some request on the server side, the API side, and we are getting the data back. Now, once we have the data back, that's a side effect in our application and we need to do something about it. So I'm going to use effect here. So creation of node, I'm going to keep here. Let's use effect. Okay. And inside use effect, I'll have a callback function and I want to load. So here inside this, I'm going to load nodes. I'll put the commits. And I want to load only first time when my application is going to get rendered. For that, we use the second argument called the empty array. So what is the meaning of empty array? So it's indicating to React, right? Run this function only once. If I put some values inside that array, that means when those values are going to change, either the props or the state. So I can pass the props value here or I can pass the state values here, right? So either of them, when they're going to change, we are going to call this function again. But in this case, in this scenario, we don't need to do that. We just need to load our nodes when my app component is going to rendered for the first time. Okay. So if you want to see that, I'm just going to put the console.log here. And I'll just say load nodes here. Okay, I'm going to save. And if I go back to my application and inspect, see, I'm going to refresh the application and it's calling load nodes. I'm going to add a new node now. Okay, maybe node 3 and node 3 text, something like this. You see here, if load nodes is going to get called again, it's not getting called again, even if the application state is changing, right? So it gets called only once when I first load the, whenever the first render for the app component is going to happen. Cool. So let me move my dev tools below. Okay. That way I should be able to see the application. I don't need it for now. I'm going to remove the console.log. And obviously to load the nodes, I'll go back to my browser. Okay. I think the nodes are not working, but anyways, we are going to use Axios. So obviously we're going to get some response. So I'm going to grab that response from the Axios. Response is equals to Axios. And obviously I'm not going to write the logic for loading here. Let's create a separate function for that. So, and just to keep our code consistent, I'm going to write it here. Const, I'll say get all nodes. Or you can say load all nodes also. You can say get all nodes also. So function name doesn't matter. You can use the name you want, right? So inside this get all nodes, and this is going to be the async function, right? Because we're going to use the await syntax here. So here I'm going to grab my nodes, response is equals to await, and I'm going to use axios dot get. So for that we use get call. Like for creating a node we use post, for getting node we use the get. And obviously I need the URL. So I'm going to grab this URL, put it here. And in this case, I don't need to pass any argument, any values, any query string parameters actually, because I just need to load all the nodes, nodes which I want, right? So I'm not going to pass anything. Now let's put console.log our nodes response, what we are getting. And we need to call this get all nodes, right? So I'm going to call that here. Okay. And it is going to get called only once. So I'll save, load my application. Let's inspect and let's see. You see that? We are getting the data back and we have 3 nodes. Currently we have 3 nodes in our db.json file. That's why I'm able to see those nodes here. So now I'm going to grab all these nodes and set my state, right? So let's set the state, that is nodes, set nodes. And first of all, I'll take the existing nodes, maybe, or maybe we are getting all the nodes, right? So let's just do the destructuring of, even you don't need to do the destructuring, we are getting the array only. So let's set it directly. So response, I think that should do the job. That's what I'm thinking. Response dot data. That's where I'm getting the nodes. Now I'm going to save and I am going to remove this, close the console, save. See that? All the nodes are coming. Test 1, node 2, node 3, right? So now I'm able to add the node. So whenever I'm adding a node, right, I need to check whether after creation of node also I'm setting the node. So let's add another node, like maybe node 4, node 4 text, something like that. And if I submit, see that the node is coming. And now if I refresh, I can see all the 4 nodes getting loaded. Okay, so we are building this application step by step, feature by feature. We have the creation of node completed. We are grabbing all the nodes also. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. I think we have 2 API, we are done with the couple of API integration, couple of pending, right? So now I need to work on the next API integration, which is related to editing of the node, right? So I should be able to edit the node, right? And update the node. So that I'm thinking or I'm planning to do in the next part of the video. So until then, you take care, goodbye, and thanks for watching the video.